Hello, my friends, wherever you are, whatever time it is. Tonight I'm going to talk about what was really a very sad moment for sports. Every year, fans are always saying, especially in games they bet on, oh, that's the worst call I've ever seen, that's the worst call I've ever seen. We've heard it so many times. This time, though, I think we might mean it. There are some calls that have stood the test of time. Like Don Denkinger, not Denkinger. The fans hated the umpire so much they started calling him Denkinger, but Don Denkinger blowing a huge ninth inning call at first base in Game 6 of the '85 World Series, Royals and Cardinals. That call went against the Cardinals. That's a call you hear about still, and you're going to be hearing about this one too, since the Saints basically had it locked up. If you make one of two very obvious calls, either the helmet to helmet or the normal pass interference. I mean, when I first watched it, I thought of NFL Blitz on PlayStation. That looked exactly like that video game, which intentionally doesn't have certain rules for football. Like the defensive back can just plow the receiver, and that's it. I mean, that call was so bad. It was like what Leslie Nielsen was doing in Naked Gun as the umpire. Like he was intentionally making calls as bad as possible for I forget what reason, but like this call was on that level of bad. It's like as a watcher of the game, it's like, how is this not fixed? It's like, how can you blow, there's no explanation could explain the call. So how is this not a fix? I mean, it's happened before. It's been going on for years. You had the Black Sox scandal in, 1919? Some people think it didn't happen. Whatever. Just the fact that his suspicions is already important. You have the NBA refs taking money. I mean, and you got steroids. You got all these forms to create illegal ways to win because of money. And it's just, you can talk about this whole game and all the plays that could have been made. We could have done this. We could have done that. It was a great game. It's now spoiled and tarnished by this call. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, as a Rams fan and player, I mean, hey, you'll take it, but does a part of you feel like you didn't earn this victory, Because it could have gone either way. And the reason it went your way is because your defensive back, Nickell robey-coleman, makes this terrible play. He should be the GOAT of the game. Instead, he's like, hey, yeah, just doing my job. Hey, it's like, oh my God. Aikman pointed it out. It's like if he had just turned and faced the ball like the way he's supposed to, he could have just intercepted it. Instead, he's knocking the guy down before he's like, it was like the definition of pass interference. How blatantly he hit him. I mean, we're all going to say it a million times and distract ourselves from the Super Bowl now. We got two great teams in the Super Bowl, Brady in his ninth, and it's like, we're going to spend way too much time talking about this call because it was that bad. I mean, it's just very unfortunate for sports. I'm not a Saints fan. Football's not even close to my favorite sport, and I'm just like sickened by that. I mean, this is like the blown call heard around the world. Like, people were texting me, did you see that call? Like, how often do you get a text message from multiple people about a call? About a call. It's like they got to allow these coaches to challenge penalties one way or the other. Say either that was a penalty or that was not a penalty. Like, football apparently is a really tough game to referee because you have these incredibly obvious calls and they're not being made. So they just need to use the replay even more and let the game take even longer. Look, at this point, what's another 15 minutes tacking on to football games? They're already way too long. They're already mostly just nothing, standing around in commercials. There's very little action. That's why it's such a social sport. People can come together and don't even have to watch because they only have to look up once in a while. You hang out, you talk, you drink. Hey, they're doing something. Oh, 2 seconds later, it's over. You go back. I mean, make it like 2 per game per team, win or lose. Like you can challenge 2 penalties or think they're for or against. You get 2 for the game and that's it. Or even just make it part of your challenges. I don't know, but it's got to be included. And it's got to be kept under control. You can't have people doing it too often. So maybe you should have challenges separate and penalty challenges as another thing. Because, I mean, look, the NFL is not happy about this. They are not trying to, call the coach of a team that lost. And the first thing they say to them is, we got the call wrong. So what can they do about it to take the refs out of this? Because it's like, listen, pretty pissed off at the referee for doing that or not doing that. But listen, I don't need him to lose his life, and people will do some crazy things. So, I don't know. It's just sad moment for sports. And hope, the referees, the people are going to be so on the reffing for the Super Bowl. I mean, if there's anything done wrong, especially in a key spot, like, oh man, it's a tough job. They have a tough job. I never was an NFL referee, but I've umpired a lot of Little League baseball games and some girls softball games and a few men's games, even some men's baseball, and it's a thankless job. It's one side is always going to hate you, and the best you can do is not get noticed. You don't want to be noticed at all. If you're being noticed, it's either you're an egomaniac and that can't be serving you, or you stink, and that's definitely not the object either. So. All right, sports fans. Talk again soon. Hopefully something about more interesting and less just aggravating. No, not aggravating. Just, I don't know. There's not a word for it. Maybe that's what this is all about. Okay, good night.